pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal will make it harder to negotiate successfully with North Korea or anyone else. It would be much harder a second time now that our credibility is shot.
Hillary Clinton now taking her criticism of President Trump overseas. But as our next guest lays out in his new op-ed, that's not all she's been up to. James Freeman is assistant editor of the Wall Street Journal editorial page and a Fox News contributor. He joins us now to explain. Good morning. Glad you're here.
Good to be here. Thanks, Ed.
You basically said in the piece what caught our eye was that basically, you know, she did this on the book tour domestically, but now it's almost a global grievance tour.
It really has become a global grievance tour. This week was in Australia. We saw earlier in India. And it's I think a lot of Democrats have to be scratching their heads because there was a general recognition about the mistakes of the Clinton campaign in 2016. Gee, maybe he should have spent more time in the Midwest.
Right.
Maybe shouldn't have insulted a lot of people in Middle America. Should have tried to understand their concerns.
But she seems to still be insulting people, still insulting Trump supporters. It was deplorables during the campaign.
Right.
She's still saying, not using that word, but basically saying the same thing.
Yeah, the India speech in particular, it was very much a deplorable speech, blaming racism, knocking people who were in economically depressed areas as not being her voters. Her voters were in the places where it was very rich and successful. And so now it's come around and it's more an attack on the president from overseas, saying that U.S. credibility is shot by his deciding to leave the Iran deal. I don't know how going overseas to make these comments to a very well-heeled audience, as usual, with Hillary Clinton is going to appeal back here. But maybe that's not the
book
point.
overseas because they're trying. They've got overseas rights on all that.
That's right.
But there used to be a tradition in this country, and I know this president has upended a lot of traditions, to be fair and to be clear.
Yeah.
But there was a long-standing tradition for both parties. Partisanship stops at the water's edge. She's blown that out of the water.
Yeah, that's what I think makes this very remarkable this week, and especially given, obviously, this is a delicate, perhaps a moment in diplomacy with North Korea where I don't think a lot is going to come of it, but this is kind of a big moment where the president is trying to make a major agreement to make the world a safer place. And, yeah, I think a lot of people would say, what is the strategy here to knock it from overseas and suggest, as she does, that America can't be trusted? I'm not sure that's the message.
Especially since she negotiated the Iran nuclear deal, which even supporters of it say hasn't exactly worked out. And she's been very critical of the president's approach to North Korea when the Clinton and Obama administrations had their shot and the problem got worse and worse. Doesn't it seem like we're at least moving towards peace now?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't put a lot of faith in this dictatorship to come around. I think we have been through this before, but you're right. That history, you would think, perhaps give her a sense of humility, given the fact that the Bush administration, the Obama administration, when she was there, things didn't really work out.
And her husband's administration.
Yes, that's exactly right. And on the Iran deal, she didn't close it, but she certainly set the table for that agreement while she was in office. And yeah, perhaps not a disinterested observer
Maybe
of this.
off the stage at some point. Move on.
We'll see.
James Freeman, it was a great article. We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, Ed. Good to be here.